Hello everybody, this is Dr. Langdon, board certified pediatrician, mom of 6, grandmother to 3, with a Christmas edition of my video because I recently saw a survey, this was released a couple of days ago, that was done in only parents of children 1 to 5 years old. Over 700 parents were interviewed or surveyed, and this poll found that more than a quarter of the parents use Santa Claus as behavioral management techniques for managing misbehaving toddlers. So let's talk about that a little and dive into that. There are a few concerns from professional expert opinion, behavioral management perspective. I would say my concerns are that typically in toddlers, threats are not as effective as just reinforcing normal boundaries, having consequences that match the concern. So for example, if a toddler is maybe whacking their sibling over the head with a certain toy, removal of that toy would be an appropriate punishment, matches the crime response, correct? Threats of losing toys on Christmas are in the future, and toddlers really need an immediate consequence for it to have much impact whatsoever on their behavior. So the problem with the Santa Claus threats are multiple. It's in the future. It's not related to the misbehavior. And ultimately, parents are not likely to follow through on these threats. I mean, that is pretty heartless, right? Santa Claus doesn't bring the kid any toys. I hate that. Well, when you don't follow through with a threat, you lose credibility. So I've always encouraged parents not to make empty threats, right? Also, I would really like for Christmas to be fun and Santa Claus to be a positive figure, much in the same way that parents sometimes in the clinic will threaten the kids with me. You better straighten up or that doctor's gonna give you a shot. I really hate that. I need to form rapport with your child. Vaccines are not a threat or, a punishment. So then later if the child does get their routine vaccines to protect them, life-saving vaccines, they think they might have done something wrong and it's a punishment. That's terrible. So similarly with Santa Claus, let's keep Christmas kind of fun. And if you've already paid for those toys under the tree, why would you not give them to the child? You would, and so then you just made a liar of yourself. So maybe using Santa Claus as a threat of misbehavior is not such a great idea. The other thing is, the concern I have is it gives away your power, right? I see this all the time between caregivers. You better straighten up or I'm gonna tell dad when he gets home from work, or you better straighten up or I'm gonna tell mom when she gets home from work, or do you want me to call your mom? Guys, if you are the caregiver, if you are the parent of that child, you have full responsibility and authority to be that caregiver. And we just want you to be consistent, to have boundaries that you reinforce. When you have said no to something, stick with it. Don't change the rules based on a tantrum or something like that. Let me tell you another behavioral concern I do have around Christmas though, and that is in some of the lyrics to some of the songs, you better not pout, you better not cry. So I hate it when people tell kids not to cry when they're really having some sort of pain. So if a kid is crying, don't threaten them with Santa Claus taking away toys. That's ridiculous. They're typically crying because they're having some sort of emotional pain. So I also hate it when you say, if you're going to cry anyway, I'm going to give you something to cry about. That's terrible. That's saying you're in emotional pain. Well, what the heck? Let's give you some physical pain to go with that. That's ridiculous, guys. That's not cool. Not good behavioral management whatsoever. So another really quick public service announcement would be that if your child is in other larger groups of kids, it would be kind of you to think about what toys or gifts that Santa may bring, because if your child shares a classroom with kids who may not be on the same socioeconomic level as you may be slightly wealthier, your child may get a very large present from Santa and the other kids don't, and the other kids are going to be very confused as to why Santa brought such very expensive and large gifts to some kids and not to other kids. I hope this was helpful. Just some thoughts about Santa and behavior at Christmas. I just wish you the best because I know this is a tricky time. Be as consistent as possible. Don't stress yourself out going to 6 different get-togethers in 2 days as I did when my kids were little, and I regret it. So please maintain as much normal routine as structure as you can and not excessive sugar intake during these holiday seasons. May your coffee be stronger than your toddlers. Good luck.